Hey everybody, it's Monday and it's madness. So just another manic Monday. Jim and Amadeus with you this afternoon. Apologies for coming on a bit late. It's my fault because we had technical issues. Those of you who understand the value of Wi-Fi understand that sometimes it's a bit wacky. So here we are. So anyway, Amadeus, hope you had a good weekend.
Oh yeah, it was pretty good weekend. How about you, Jim?
Not bad, not bad. Very enjoyable weekend, and there's all kinds of good stuff this week. I mean, we have a Champions, League game this week. We got all kinds of fun stuff. So it's going to be fun. It should very well be a very interesting soccer week. There's plenty of interesting stuff to do and look at. So, what are you going to be watching this week? There's a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, you hit it right on the nose with the Champions League. We got we got the Milan derby finishing off tomorrow. Inter's got the 2-0 lead in that one, and then we're gonna have a very interesting game on Wednesday with Real Madrid traveling to Manchester for that one against Man City, with that one tied 1-1.
Yeah, and the other thing is you've got um, the. What do you think the Man City situation is going to be? Are they gonna? Is this the one? Are they going to break through on this, or is it? Is it not a lock by any stretch?
You know what? If you had asked me that before the first leg, I would have told you, yeah, this Man City team is absolutely rolling over everybody right now, and they're going to be a very tough out of the competition. But from what I saw in that first leg, I wouldn't quite say that this is over, even with City being at home. From what I saw, City can have as much possession of the ball as they want, but they weren't able to do much with it. And they clearly don't have the speed to deal with Real Madrid's counter with Vinicius there and Rodrigo on the other side. And Real Madrid's a very fast team, and I don't know how Man City's going to match up against them. So, yeah, definitely after watching that first leg, I wouldn't say this one's a lock for Man City.
Yeah, the other thing too is that they seemingly play keep away. They know how fast they are. So if you can't keep up with them, you must keep the ball away from them. But that
And
in as to itself is a problem because you can't be on the attack when you're basically playing the ball back and forth between the midfield and your defense.
Yeah, and you know what? It did become a big problem actually in the first half, right before Real Madrid scored that goal, because Real Madrid let Manchester City get so comfortable in the match with their possession and really control it. And they almost kind of, lulled them into a false sense of security, because as soon as they made one mistake, and it wasn't even really a giveaway, it was like the tiniest little giveaway, and, right back down the other way, scores.
Boom, there you go. And the fun part of this is that, I like it when you don't know what's going to happen. It's more fun than, the one of these foregone conclusion situations. You know, um, Ask the Warriors how that hand worked out. It doesn't always work out the way you think it's going to work out. Some of these top seeds just,
All right, I think still dealing with some technical difficulties right now. I don't know what happened to Jim. He kind of just froze on us, but I will pick it up going back to the Real Madrid match. Another thing with that first leg, so Real Madrid almost lured them into a false sense of security, and then they picked their point to strike. Now, I think that was a very important match for Manchester City to set the tone, and they didn't do a very good job of setting the tone in that one. Obviously, they came away with the draw, and that's good. They're not behind, but I don't think being at home necessarily helps them out in this second leg. See, Manchester City is a team where, they're still looking for that elusive Champions League title that they haven't won yet. And Real Madrid, they're the defending champions. This team specifically, they didn't make many changes in the summer. So this team specifically, they know how to win this competition. Not to mention Real Madrid as a club, every time they've been in the Champions League final, they've won the trophy. So this is a Real Madrid club that they have the belief and they know their team is good. Whereas Manchester City, as good as they've been and so dominant in the Premier League for so many years, they still haven't won the Champions League. And being at home here can almost have them a little uneasy because it's very easy to turn the home crowd against them if things don't work out well in the first couple minutes. And that's the thing. Real Madrid doesn't have that pressure of the home crowd flipping on them because they're on the road, they're the defending champions, and they know we did this to City last year. We can easily go on the road, score 3-4 goals on them and come out of this tie. Whereas Manchester City, they're going to have flashbacks from that comeback last year. They also haven't won the trophy yet, not just this specific team, but the club itself. So the fan base has that little bit of uneasiness when they're watching the match. And, if Manchester City is dominating the possession but can't get any scoring chances out of it, or really they're not doing much with the ball, the crowd's going to start to feel uneasy just watching the game. And that kind of rubs off on the players. So you end up getting a City team that knows, their home crowd doesn't have the belief that they can do this. And then Real Madrid, that's something that they can pounce on for sure. So it's definitely going to be an interesting second leg. I definitely don't think this one's over. We could be seeing extra time in that one for sure. But yeah, definitely. I think being at home might hurt City a bit if they don't come out strong and really make an impression in the first 30 minutes. The crowd might start to feel uneasy, and that's something that'll rub off on the players. But just going to take a quick break, see what happened to Jim here. But yeah, so we have those are obviously the two Champions League games, the Milan derby. I wouldn't say. Well, we'll talk a bit about the Milan derby. That one I wouldn't say is over yet. I know. So Inter is technically the home team, so they're going to have about 75% of the building as Inter fans, as opposed to AC Milan fans in that first leg. But this is still the home stadium for AC Milan. They're not the designated home team, but they're definitely going to feel comfortable being in their own building, and they're going to have some supporters there because obviously, they don't have to travel to go watch it. So that 25% is going to make themselves known for sure in the stadium. And AC Milan, they were missing Rafael Leao in the first leg, and he is a huge loss to their attack. Their attack is very flat without him. They don't have a lot of pace to their attack, and it's just it's very hard for them to create scoring chances. Leao really opens that up. He has the speed to drag defenders out of position, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for AC Milan. Now, he wasn't in the first leg, but he's going to be playing in this next leg. And he's going to be a difference maker. And you can believe with AC Milan down 2-0, they can't stick to defense in this match. So they're definitely going to be coming. And in the first leg, so Inter Milan scored 2 goals very early. It was about in the first 10 minutes, and they continued to dominate the first half. But things really started to change in the second half. They kind of sat back, and AC Milan was all over them and quite clearly was the better team in the second half. So AC Milan's definitely not out. They're still playing in their home stadium, despite not this being their home leg. And, they're going to have their best attacker, Leao's coming back for this match. So they're all of a sudden their attack's going to look a lot more dangerous with him in there. They're going to be able to score goals. And if they play any way how they played in that second half of the first leg, then they're definitely going to give Inter a run for their money. And it could easily tie this one up as well as Inter has played. This is a rivalry, and these teams are going to come at each other. So definitely two really good semifinals for sure. The second legs are going to be good. Obviously Real Madrid and Manchester City is going to be good with that one tied, and probably the two strongest teams left in the competition over the two Italian sides. But that Italian match is a rivalry match, and even though it's 2-0, AC Milan is going to be in a better position here for sure. And they're also not going to have the pressure because they're down 2-0. They're getting their best attacker back, and it's going to be a matter of, let's just go for it. So they're going to be able to do that, and it's definitely going to be two interesting matches in the Champions League this week.
Well, I'm back. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm back on my phone this time. So there you go. Yeah, Foxy's got his he's getting all set up for this week. So he's got some crazy stuff going on.
Yes, Foxy, we are definitely all Leicester fans today. Absolutely. Hopefully we're not going to be disappointed Leicester fans, which is very, very likely considering
it's Leicester.
Yeah, considering their help. Not even that it's Leicester. It's the team they're playing. They're trying to help. They desperately want them in the top four so bad. But Foxy, it would be nice. We're all Leicester fans at heart today.
Yeah, it's like the world is a Leicester fan today.
Yes.
That's not going to be the case about 6:30, 7 o'clock tonight Eastern time. But yeah, after that, then that's fine. So there you go, boys and girls. So yeah, what are some of the? So we've got the NBA playoffs semifinals. I'm sorry, the conference finals start tomorrow night, and we've got the Lakers, who people love to hate, and then we got the Celtics and the Heat. And for some reason, the Celtics and the Heat play each other really tight.
Yeah, and if you've been paying any attention to storylines at all, you'll notice that these are the same four teams we had in the semifinals for the bubble year.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, wow, how interesting your finals are going to be. Heat Lakers once again.
I have a question for you, and this could be in any sport. Doesn't have to be in basketball. I'm going to contend that the most valuable player for the Miami Heat is Erik Spoelstra.
I mean,
go ahead.
Well, I mean, he's not really a player.
No, I understand. The reason, let me get to the theory of the case on that. That if you look at the roster, if you look at how they played, if you look how they've managed minutes, they've had injuries the whole way down the line. They shouldn't be there, but they are. And why? And I do believe sometimes coaches who get blamed for everything occasionally get praised for something. I think in Spoelstra's case this year, he's literally managed that team into the spot that they are right now. Now, obviously, you have to have players who execute. Now, I'm not doubting that for a moment. But, if you really look at it, I believe that it's Erik's coaching that got them there more than necessarily their talent.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. He's a great coach, and if you can keep a job at the same team for well over 10 years, then you definitely have my respect as a coach.
And in the NBA.
No. Where they just fired, like, 4 coaches just got fired in the last few weeks, and
Right.
one had the best record over the last 3 seasons. Another was a coach of the year 2 years ago. One won a finals with the Toronto Raptors of all teams, right? So the only league where they're firing, the most winningest coaches in the league, losing their jobs.
I mean, the Suns coach gets bounced, and you're like, what? Phoenix has been, phenomenal. If it wasn't for the Warriors, Phoenix probably would have been in some finals.
And that's the thing, right? Like Monty Williams is a scapegoat for the fact that we sold the farm to get Kevin Durant. We left them out there like, okay, now we have Booker and Durant, but they got to play 48 minutes a game. So you didn't really help the team.
No. And that's those cases where the general manager, keeps his job, and the coach is going, thanks, I appreciate it.
Yeah, like that wasn't Monty's decision. He didn't say go get Durant. He's handed Durant, and it's like, here you go, figure it out. And he's like, all right, thanks for getting rid of my whole bench now.
Right.
Manage minutes.
But here's the thing that I didn't understand when they made the trade. Okay, they didn't need him. They were playing fantastic basketball. Why? Why would you do what they did? I mean, it's not like going to sell any more tickets. It's not like any of that stuff. And okay, it's like making a trade in baseball at the trade deadline, right? You try to help yourself, but sometimes you make that trade, and that trade doesn't work, and you've bailed yourself into some trouble. It's exactly what happened in the Soto trade. They traded for Soto. San Diego traded for Soto, and he didn't do buckets for them the final, month of the season.
Yeah, and if you look at like most of the teams that are competitive in the NBA, they're all structured the same way that Phoenix was structured, where you have that one guy who's your superstar, you have the playmaker, and then obviously your center for rebounds. Now, in some cases, it's a 2-for-1 there. Like obviously you got Jokic on the Nuggets, but he still has Jamal Murray there as his number 2 guy. You got Joel Embiid and Harden. So Booker's your star, Paul's your playmaker, and Ayton's your rebounder. So your team was built fine. Adding Durant to that is just overkill, and now you've gotten rid of your depth, which was a big reason why you lost that series.
Yeah, but and to your point on that, there's no way that there's no way Durant fits in that scenario. He doesn't play that way.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? So now you have 2 stars, you have Durant and Booker, and like you make the job that much harder on Chris Paul too, because it's like, who do I get the ball to? I have 2 great players, but if I if I overfeed one, the other's going to get pissed off, right? Or if I don't feed one enough, right? Or like if one's having a bad night and I keep giving him the ball because he wants it, but the other guy wants the ball and doesn't, and is obviously playing better, that you're putting stress on your playmaker there.
Well, and the other part of it, which I think is just as important, they both play the same position. Theoretically, I mean, it's
that basketball doesn't even have positions now. Now
that's a good point. That's a fair point.
The Lakers don't even have a center. They rock like no. They use 2 centers now, don't they? Because Vanderbilt was a center.
One's not enough.
It was the opposite of what I was thinking. Yeah, they just decided, like some teams don't have a center, and then there's the Lakers. They're like, we need 3 centers, right? So
we need 3 centers. We need 3 centers, a guard, and LeBron.
Yeah, and like I get the 3 forwards and 2 guards or whatever, because maybe you don't have a center, but really like a center is not tough to find. You just want a really tall guy to get you some rebounds, right? Like,
well, the game's not set up any longer to play with a center in it. I mean, in some cases, yes, but if you got guys who are launching threes, those balls do not land right next to the normal bounce off, and it's right there by the rim. You're looking at 10, anywhere from 5 to 15 feet away from the basket, that rebound comes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Big shots equals big rebounds. And now they're thinking about I don't know if they're thinking about it, but I've heard rumors of adding a 4-point line to the sport. And it's just,
Oh
getting
my
out of
God.
hand.
Yeah, yeah, and the 5 points is in the parking lot. I mean, I don't know. I get
If you can drop kick it in, you don't even
right,
inbound the
exactly.
ball, just you get scored on. If you can drop
Right.
kick it in, there's your 5 points. You get a
There,
nice field goal and a conversion.
right, right, exactly. I mean, it's wacky because the teams who play the center position, how many guys do you see take the ball in the paint and back their way to the basket, right? Which is a traditional center. Might be 2 guys in the whole league that's successful at that. And you got most of these normally what a center does. So, I mean, we got, I guess they're hybrid centers or whatever you want to call them,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say, like, now you got,
they're really
Jokic
just
and
glorified power.
Embiid, who are the hybrid centers
So
of the league.
he can play the 5. He can play that. They don't play him that way often, but he can. I think it's because, frankly, he's just such an amazing athlete. He can do it. In theory, I bet if he wanted to, and I've seen him do it at times, LeBron could play a center. He's 6'8".
Yes,
You know,
yes. Well, he's another one that racks up rebounds as well. That's why I
right.
make the joke that the Lakers are playing with 3 centers, because I know he's a forward, but he basically, you could play him like a center. Half the time it's him and Anthony Davis fighting for who has more rebounds in the game.
Right.
So
Yeah. And assists. So
yeah.
So you got a center guard. But back in the day, that was a Kareem move. That was a Shaq move. I mean, those guys would get the rebound and could do an outlet pass. I mean, that was the way they knew that when the ball came off the rim, that everybody was running in the other direction because their guy, whether it was Shaq or Karl Malone or any one of those kind of guys, they were definitely going to get the ball to them somehow, some way. So it'll be interesting. That'll be sure to get to that point. And then we got the hockey starting to spin down too. They got a little ways to go on that one. And we got Scherzer was back in form this weekend. Pitched yesterday and went, I think it was 6 innings, struck out 8 or 9 guys. Looked decent. The unfortunate part was it was against the Nationals, but then again, it happened. And was it? Didn't the Jays sweep this weekend?
Yeah, who was it? Oh my God, I forget who they played already, but it was the
Was it
Braves,
Boston?
right?
Braves,
No, it was
right,
the Braves. Yeah,
Braves.
yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, they swept the Braves, so good on them. Playing well at home, I guess. The new renovations.
What is the new renovation?
It's actually they did quite a bit. So now,
okay, quite a bit.
Yeah, so they knocked out like a whole section and basically, I think they made the wall bigger. No, it was bigger or smaller. They did it for Kevin Kiermaier because he's playing out in the outfield now, and so they did it to help him out, and then they moved the bullpen. So instead of having the wall and the bullpen in behind, the bullpen is now on top of the wall. So it goes like the wall onto this platform, and the bullpen is there. And now there's these seats, these long like bleacher type seats, and it's first come, first serve. So you can, like, once you're in the building, you can race to go get your seat there and watch the pitchers warm up in the bullpen now as you're watching the game. And I think underneath there's also like a little restaurant area with like a window where you're literally looking into the diamond, into the outfield from inside the window. So they did quite a bit with the renovations, actually. That's only part 1 of 3, apparently.
Yeah, that's a good thing because people tend. One of the things that they did at Nationals Park, and then they've done it now in a number of parks, Pittsburgh and others. They have it where they'll sell you a seat, which actually isn't a seat. Okay, you have the ability to walk from one foul pole to the other foul pole in the outfield and watch the game from any one of those, different locations. So you're really just walking the park, but you can see down into the stadium, obviously. And so you get different angles the whole time along. That entire time also, you're right up near the restaurants and, all that situation as well. So it's kind of like it gives you the opportunity to get in the ballpark for like $10, but at the same time, you don't have a seat, but you do have the ability to walk from foul line to foul line and really get some nice shots of nice views of the game.
Yeah, I don't know if the Rogers Center sells those, but their tickets are only like $20 a piece anyway.
Yeah, that's very reasonable, and you can have it's I don't know. I think it's important that that you make it affordable for people to go.
Yeah, like the Leafs and the Raptors are no longer affordable. The cheapest ticket in there is like $120 for nosebleed seats. That's at a Leaf game. The Raptors game is, I think, 200 plus. You can't even get in the building for less than $200.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
so
just.
I'd rather go watch a Blue Jays game. It costs me nothing.
Yeah, I mean,
I buy my one beer when I get right in the park, and that costs more than the ticket I just bought.
Yeah, it's a lot of people enjoy going to minor league games because you can, it's fun. You get to watch, quality baseball, and it's reasonable price, and they do giveaways and all kinds of stuff. So you can just have a lot of fun at the games. So I know the minor leagues have done quite well from that. So we'll have to see if that's something that goes from here on out, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's definitely. I haven't caught a minor league game myself, but I'm sure.
Is there minor leagues in your area?
Oh yeah, the Toronto Marlies. The thing is, they play. I think they play in the Scotiabank Arena, so you might be paying like a little bit less than Leaf tickets to go watch the Marlies.
Yeah, they're called the Marlies.
Yeah, the Toronto Marlies is their AHL team, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's not the OHL. It's like it's the AHL. I think.
Okay.
Because the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League, has like teams like Barrie and London, and they're like smaller cities. But the Toronto Marlies are the actual farm team of the Maple Leafs. That's where Joseph Woll came from, the goalie they were using in the playoffs, because all their goalies were injured. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Marlies are their AHL team. That is their farm system team.
Well, that's cool. The Capitals have the Hershey Bears, and that's their team, and they actually have been quite they fill the place up, and they have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Heard you frozen again.
So, can you see? Is it working?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, sorry, you
Okay.
cut out. It's been a day of technical difficulties.
Yeah, let's end this disaster before I crash the plane. Snafu. But anyway, any final thoughts before this thing crashes?
No, just enjoy the games as always.
There you go. Be safe. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye bye.